Hello, friends. Welcome back to Weird Wednesdays. Tattooed Biker here with you. And in today's video, we'll be embarking on an eerie journey down America's most haunted roads and highways. From spine-chilling tales of spectral hitchhikers to mysterious apparitions that haunt the dark night. The following list is by no means comprehensive, and those mysterious roads in which the haunting falls solely within the haunted bridge category have been admitted. So now, buckle up and join me as we uncover the stories behind America's 25 most haunted roads and highways, and enjoy the ride. Number 1. Annie's Road, Ottawa, New Jersey. According to legend, some years ago a young woman was killed in a motor vehicle accident on Riverview Road, near the gates of Laurel Grove Cemetery. Ever since, the lady's spirit, now known as Annie, is occasionally seen on the side of the highway near the spot where she died. And if anyone attempts to follow her, she, much like Chicago's Resurrection Mary, strolls into the cemetery and simply disappears. This story figured prominently in the February 1992 Hail Mary murder, wherein 17-year-old Robert Solheim Jr. was strangled to death by James Wagner, also 17, in a plot hatched by Wanger and 3 other teens. Number 2. Boy Scout Lane, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. There's more than one version of the story about this road off West River Drive, but the most popular version has it that back in the 1950s, a group of Boy Scouts hiked to this heavily wooded spot for a campout. At some point during the night, while the boys were sleeping, their troop leader, for reasons unknown, stealthily entered their tents and killed them all, one by one. Some traveling this dead-end stretch of road during the night claim the murdered boys still haunt the area and appear at random, often covered in blood from their wounds. The location where the mass murder allegedly occurred is now privately owned, and trespassing is strongly discouraged. Number 3. Clinton Road, West Milford, New Jersey. On this lonely, roughly 10-mile highway beginning at Route 23 near Newfoundland, New Jersey, there are reports of phantom headlights that appear out of nowhere and closely follow drivers. Additionally, at a bridge near Dead Man's Curve, people say that if one tosses a coin into the water, the pitiful spirit of a drowned boy will toss it back. However, the scariest location is the spot where an old house, known as Cross Castle, once stood. According to local tales, those who trespass have been chased by Satanists, modern-day Druids, and others who utilize the site for their dark and mysterious rituals. Number 4. Cossart Road, Chadds Ford, Pennsylvania. Those who have seen the 2004 movie The Village are at least somewhat familiar with the area around Cossart Road, aka Devil's Road. It was because of the weird legends associated with the area that M. Night Shyamalan chose it as the setting for his film about a reclusive group of people who are afraid to leave the confinement of their settlement because of those we don't speak of, i.e. the dangerous creatures in the forest. A little more than 2 miles in length, the road is undeniably spooky, particularly at night, and in places the crooked trees on either side seem to be bending away from the narrow, winding byway. According to legend, the ruins of an old abandoned mansion built in the nearby woods by the DuPont family were later taken over by a satanic cult. Known for years as the Cult House, those who attempt to locate the place are chased by, quote, something demonic. Number 5. Dead Man's Curve, Claremont County, Ohio. Located in Bantam, where Route 222 meets Route 125, many have lost control of their vehicles on this curve, and before the advent of the automobile, horse-drawn conveyances sometimes overturned as drivers attempted to guide their animals along this difficult bend in the road. Accordingly, in 1968, when the highway was widened, the curve was straightened to some extent. Unfortunately, around a month later, 5 teens in a Chevy Impala collided with a driver operating a green Roadrunner, traveling at an estimated 100 miles an hour. It was following this crash that people began reporting 2 phantom cars in the area, one of which appears to be a vintage Chevy Impala. Other apparitions include a faceless hitchhiker, also the result of a 1968 accident, and a horse-drawn carriage, believed to be the manifestation of a long-ago mishap. Number 6. Devil Worshipper Road, Shubuta in Waynesboro, Mississippi. The narrow Waynesboro-Shubuta Road winds its way through 18 miles of dense forest and farmland, and there are dark spots where the sun shines only in winter after the trees have lost their foliage. At night, lone drivers can easily become spooked, particularly when a horned, satyr-like creature brandishing a pitchfork suddenly appears in their headlights. Legend has it that many years ago a local farmer made a pact with the devil, and when he died, Satan turned him into a 7-foot, cloven-hoofed demon, destined to haunt the location where he practiced his worship of the Horned One until Judgment Day. Over the years, the story has attracted practitioners of the dark arts who gather in the woods just off the road in an attempt to raise Old Scratch himself. People have reported seeing strange lights in the forest and finding strange, burned areas, pentagrams, and other evidence of ritualistic activity. There's also been reports of vehicles shaking and stalling for no apparent reason, and something leaving mysterious handprints on windows. Many claim the entire 18-mile stretch of highway is haunted, while others insist that the Goatman is seen only on the section of highway north of Clear Creek Baptist Church because the devil can't pass a holy structure. Number 7. The Devil's Highway, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. Originally designated Route 666, the 193-mile road beginning in Gallup, New Mexico, was considered unlucky from the beginning because it bore the number of the beast. Some claim that there were many unexplained accidents along the godforsaken stretch, and lone drivers sometimes reported encountering faceless hitchhikers, skinwalkers, hellhounds, and other entities of the supernatural realm. Finally, in 2003, the highway was redesignated US 491, but the name change didn't exorcise the alleged demonic activity, for there are still reports of strange things along the lonely road, and those who find themselves driving the former Route 666 at night risk being forced off the highway by a phantom black car. Number 8. The Devil's Promenade, near Hornet, Missouri. Every evening, something very odd happens along a strip of East 50 Road, aka Spooklight Road, south of Hornet. The Spooklight, as it's called, is a basketball-sized sphere seen through the trees long after the sun has completely set. It's usually green, but has been known to shift in color and size, and nobody knows what causes it. There have been spooklight sightings in the area since the 19th century, and according to legend, the mysterious luminescence is the spirit of 2 lovers searching for each other. Number 9. Extraterrestrial Highway, Nevada, State Route 375. Begins approximately 65 miles north of Las Vegas at Crystal Springs and runs 98 miles northwest of Warm Springs. Just south of 375 is Homey Airport, or Groom Lake, better known as Area 51, and the road passes through Rachel, home of the Little Inn, a motel, restaurant, and souvenir shop that capitalizes on the region's UFO sightings. Those traveling Route 375 at night often witness mysterious lights and other aerial phenomena. Number 10. Ghost Road, Brooklet, Georgia. Railroad Bed Road, which, as the name suggests, is the site of a former railroad, haunted by a ghost light, said to be the specter of a signalman who was decapitated when he was hit by a train. The man's body was recovered, but for some reason, his head was never found, and to this day his spirit has walked the location where it happened, in search of his own missing head. Robertson Road, a narrow, unpaved thoroughfare connecting railroad bed road with Highway 80, is haunted by a digging ghost, the apparition of a man with a spade, diligently digging for something at the side of the road. Some say he's digging his own grave, while others claim he is digging up ahead, possibly that of the decapitated signalman. Railroad Bed Road has such a sinister reputation, it's been featured in many documentaries. Number 11. Haynesville Road, Aroostook County, Maine. This particular stretch of highway, designated Route 2A, is so notorious there's even a song about it. A Tombstone Every Mile, released in 1965 by truck driver turned singer Dan Curlis. In addition to an inordinate number of accidents, the highway is the domain of a vanishing hitchhiker who appears suddenly in the headlights of lone travelers or walks along the side of the road, waiting for someone to give her a ride. Some say she's the wraith of a young woman involved in a crash one night, who froze to death before help could arrive. A second apparition encountered on the Haynesville Road is that of a young girl hit and killed by a semi-truck. While there's no record of the lady who died of hypothermia, two 10-year-old Haynesville girls, Janet Marie Rouse and Melody Shorey, were killed when they were hit by a truck on August 22, 1967. Number 12. I-4 Dead Zone, Sanford, Florida. A section of Interstate 4 near Lake Monroe was constructed over a location known as the Field of the Dead, where victims of an 1887 yellow fever outbreak are buried. Truckers and others who frequently drive through the area have reported strange occurrences, including phantom voices coming over radios and cell phones inexplicably going dead. Some have even told of catching fleeting glimpses of human shapes on the side of the highway, which has a higher than average accident rate. Number 13. Jack Cole Road, Blount County, Alabama. According to legend, for well over 100 years, there's been an unusually high number of deaths associated with this dark, unpaved, dead-end road in the town of Hayden, just north of Birmingham. Although some of these individuals, such as those who succumbed to cholera around 1900, didn't actually die on the road itself, they were apparently transported to their final resting places along this route that cuts through thick woods. Also, at some point, hunters came across an old cabin, wherein they discovered the mummified remains of a woman, who some believed was a witch responsible for many of the strange events in the area. Then in the 1960s, the body of a local farmer, the victim of an axe-wielding fiend, was found at the end of Jack Cole Road. Sometime later, a photographer taking photos in the region reported seeing strange things in the woods adjacent to the thoroughfare, and shortly thereafter he was found dead on or near Jack Cole Road. But not all the things associated with the location occurred in the distant past. In 2015, the home of Lisa Weaver, a 52-year-old disabled woman who lived on Jack Cole Road, caught fire, and when firemen arrived, they discovered the bodies of her 3 dogs in the rubble. But Miss Weaver's corpse was nowhere to be found. The lady had spoken with her son, Michael Weaver, minutes before the fire, so there's no doubt she was home when the fire started. And now, even 8 years later, she's still listed as a missing person. Many people traveling the road at night have reported seeing mysterious lights and human shapes darting around in the woods. Presumably, these phantoms are not of this world and, as such, can't really harm anyone. But the same isn't true of the half-Bigfoot, half-wolf creature that has terrorized some who find themselves on Jack Cole Road. 2 men who allegedly encountered the beast late one night returned the following day and discovered clawed, 5-toed tracks they estimated to be at least 18 inches in length. Number 14. Jeremy Swamp Road, Southbury, Connecticut. There's a local tale that many years of inbreeding, produced a race of humanoids with enormous heads atop puny bodies, commonly known as the melonheads. These strange beings inhabit caves and tunnels in wooded areas and live off nuts, berries, and small animals, including pets. However, should the opportunity arise, they aren't averse to feasting on a tasty teenager or two. Adults whose cars stall at night on Jeremy Swamp Road have little to worry about, but young people are in danger of being captured, killed, and consumed by melonheads. For the nocturnal creatures seem to have an affinity for young, sweet meat. Unfortunately, those teens who think they're safe by avoiding this specific road at night are simply deluding themselves. For Zion Hill Road in Milford, Sawmill City Road in Shelton, Velvet Street in Trumbull, and various other locations in Easton, Fairfield, Monroe, New Haven, Oxford, Stratford, and Seymour have their own colonies of the alleged melonheads. Number 15. Johns Bayou Road, Van Cleve, Mississippi. Several motor vehicle accidents have occurred in the same swampy location on this road, with most survivors reporting a series of events. Drivers stop upon seeing what appears to be a great deal of blood on the road. After investigating the unusual sight and returning to their cars, headlights suddenly appear out of nowhere, and a dark-colored van crashes into their stationary vehicles before disappearing into the darkness. Rumor has it that some years ago, a newly licensed teenager who came home with the front of his car bashed in swore his vehicle was hit by the dark van on John Bayou Road, but no one believed him. Number 16. Kelly Road, Ohioville, Pennsylvania. It is said that when animals scamper across the section of Kelly Road known as Mystery Mile, they become deranged. Additionally, the ghost of a pale boy in ragged clothing haunts the area, and people who have seen his apparition say the lad is surrounded by a bright white aura-like light. Number 17. Mona Lisa Drive, New Orleans, Louisiana. Around the turn of the 20th century, a rich philanthropist donated money to establish a portion of what is now known as City Park in New Orleans on condition that it include a statue of his beloved daughter Mona, who had recently died. Unfortunately, the statue, which was reportedly located near Poppy Seed Fountain, was repeatedly vandalized by wild teenagers and eventually removed. Ever since, people walking or driving along what some call Mona Lisa Drive at night have occasionally seen and heard the moaning white wraith of the lovely Mona. Those foolish enough to stop their cars to await her appearance have found scratches on their vehicles the following day. In another version of the story, the daughter's name was Lisa, and became her ghost because supposedly moaned, she became known as the Moaning Lisa, which through the years became Mona Lisa. Number 18. Ortega Ridge Road, Montecito, California. Those driving this stretch of road have reported seeing 3 nuns, aka Lestras Hermanas, at the side of the highway. According to the legend, the nuns were attacked and killed by bandits many years ago. Though why robbers would target nuns who had taken vows of poverty and wouldn't have been carrying anything of value, no one knows. Number 19. Owaissa Street, Appleton, Wisconsin. People driving or walking along this section of North Owaissa Street, adjacent to Riverside Cemetery after dark, sometimes encounter the apparitions of mourners in old-fashioned attire. Whether the phantoms in black are connected to the legend of Kate Blood, whose grave has become a favorite tourist attraction, particularly with teenagers, is unknown. Because of her name and the fact that her burial plot is situated a distance from the others, in the sprawling, heavily wooded cemetery, there are rumors that the lady was either a malevolent witch or a mad axe murderess. In fact, she was neither, just a young wife and mother who died of tuberculosis at the age of 23. Number 20. Prospector's Road, Garden Valley, California. During the California Gold Rush, when thousands of weary men dug day and night In hopes of striking it rich, those who bragged about their finds were in danger of being murdered by unscrupulous miners. The phantom of one such victim is said to appear from the bushes on this narrow road, exclaiming in a harsh whisper, "Get off my claim." Number 21. Sandhill Road, Las Vegas, Nevada. The whispers and moans of a couple who died in an underground tunnel are occasionally heard on South Sandhill Road, near its intersection with East Olive Street. Additionally, there have been reports of the specter of the old woman who chases and has been known to chase people. Number 22. Seven Sisters Road, Nebraska City. Officially known as L Road, the local name for this two-lane highway, approximately 5 miles south of Nebraska City, is Seven Sisters Road. Legend has it that in the early 1900s, a man who lived on a nearby farm with his parents and 7 sisters got into an argument with other family members, and when his parents went visiting that evening, he somehow enticed or forced his sisters outside, one by one, and summarily hanged them from the trees located atop several hills. Although the trees are gone and some of the hills have been leveled, on moonlit nights people hear what sounds like the blood-curdling cries of women in distress, cars inexplicably stalled on the road, and the ringing of phantom bells emanate from the old family graveyard. Those who have researched this legend believe the phenomena predates the story, which was likely fabricated to explain the strange activity. Number 23. Shades of Death Road, Allamuchy Township, New Jersey. Yes, the road sign actually reads Shades of Death, which is creepy enough, but what makes this road even more chilling aren't the reports of the thick fog and hangings that allegedly took place in the area, but rather the strange white light that appears just off the road at a place called Lenape Lane. It is said that if the light turns red, the person watching it will die within the year. Number 24. Spook Road, Brandon, South Dakota. In the spring and summer, this approximately 3-mile section of 264th Street, containing 5 bridges, all of which cross Beaver Creek, can be inviting. But on dark nights after the trees have lost their leaves, it can be terrifying, particularly for those looking for ghosts. While no one is certain who or what haunts the location, some claim that one crosses 5 bridges when driving east from Splitlock Boulevard, but on the way back there are only 4. It's on the way back that thrill seekers sometimes see the figure of a hanging man, either dangling from a tree to the side of the highway or on the road itself. Those who claim to have seen the apparition say the face is bloated, the eyes bulging, and the tongue hanging out. One paranormal investigator who checked out Spook Road remarked, quote, "Even though there is no documented history to support any of the claims of this road, it is possible that something is drawn to the area because people want it to be haunted. Remember that saying, be careful what you wish for. You might just get it." End quote. Number 25. Stagecoach Road, Marshall, Texas. For many years, stagecoaches rumbled along the red dirt thoroughfare, transporting passengers and goods to and from Shreveport, Louisiana, and Marshall, Texas, their iron wheels cutting deeper into the clay with each trip. Today, the banks on either side are 10 feet high in some places, and the overhead trees totally block the light. It is said that, at one time, a voodoo queen, chased out of New Orleans, took up residence in Marshall, where she sold potions and lucky gris-gris to locals and visitors, and generally lived peacefully until her body was found on the side of Stagecoach Road. Even though it's been well over 100 years since the witch woman's murder, people say that when the moon is full, her malevolent specter wanders the spooky old road, muttering curses against the town and shaking shrunken heads at anyone she meets. A historical plaque marking Stagecoach Road is located at Pine Bluff Baptist Church, approximately 2.5 miles south of the road itself. And there it is. We've reached the end of our hair-raising expedition through America's most haunted roads and highways. These tales of the supernatural continue to give us chills. So until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, stay safe, and I'll be seeing you a little further on down the road. Biker.